everybody. It's time for the main event, our fireside chat. All right, they're here already. She is an American podcaster, social media personality, and content creator for Barstool Sports. Please welcome to the stage, Brianna LaPaglia.
Hi, everybody. How are we doing? So happy to see all your faces in here. This is great.
And of course, he is a Canadian actor, host, entrepreneur. The list goes on, the king of the viral to venture pipeline. How about a warm welcome for Josh Richards?
What's up, everybody? Actor first is crazy, by the way,
Yeah,
but I
actor
like
last.
it. Kind of gave me some confidence up here. How's everyone doing? You guys can answer. Yeah. That's great.
Good.
Me and Bri haven't been together for a while, obviously, with BFFs coming to an end, sadly.
Yeah.
But we're back, and there is a lot to talk about, a lot to cover.
Yeah, there is. And it's exciting to be here, too, because how we created it kind of started off a little bit different for both of us. And I don't know, does anybody in here looking to be a creator or get into that field or do stuff like that? Yeah, I feel like I see a lot of people.
Hands. You got to
Yeah.
be confident with it. Put that hand
Yeah,
up. Put that
say
hand
yes,
up.
I want to do it. I want to do it. We all have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And,
So I don't know if you guys remember an app called Musical.ly, but sadly that is where I started. So there's a lot of embarrassing videos of me online, but at the end of the day, it did get me here, and I think that is a good thing to point out, right?
well,
And
it's embarrassing to start.
it will
It's going to be embarrassing.
It will be.
Because
There's-
no one's following you yet.
Yeah, so you're posting to no people, and then you're posting something
You're going to
weird
be
no
cringe. You
people.
have to get over the fact that you're going to be cringe for a little bit if you want to make it.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think, cringe is views, and views at the end of the day is going to get you to the right place, right? And it's how you adapt with your content. So when I was younger, when I was 14, 13, and I was doing social media videos on Musical.ly, it's going to be a very different type of video than I make today being 24, hopefully. So, you got to age up with your audience, and I think that's just something that you learn as you go on. I was very young doing it, and, having to juggle school and social media all at the same time, and, extracurriculars if you're somebody that's in sports or in clubs or whatever you're doing. There is a lot to balance, but I think one of the great things that we have today that we didn't have as much of back in the day was the technology to be able to do everything in one place, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with stuff like Windows, I mean, having the ability to have a PC set up where you're able to, stream, which is a massive part of social media today.
Well, yeah, everyone that streams uses a PC. That's
Everybody,
the only thing
yeah.
we use for streaming, for gaming. Everyone that's gaming that's doing that. It's also so easy to edit on. I think if you are looking to get into creation, one of the most important things to become good at is editing and knowing your voice through your edits. I think that kind of makes you step apart from people, and to do it on Windows is honestly the easiest thing that you can possibly do.
Do you have an early Windows memory?
Even this is so nostalgic, right?
Yeah,
This brings
yeah.
me back. When I was younger, I think when I started making content, I was doing movies, and I used Windows. It was all on my PC.
You started in college, right?
Yeah,
really?
I started and it wasn't even in the beginning of college either. 2019 is when I was like, okay, you can see that you can make a career out of this. You can make money out of it. I see Josh Richards and Griffin Johnson. How old are you guys? 17? 18?
I was 17. Yeah, I was the youngest one besides Quinn.
Yeah, and they're
So-
driving Lamborghinis and living in the hills and in Hollywood, and I'm in the middle of Ohio at a school in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, I want to do this. I want to make money too, but I'm not going to take my shirt off and dance. What am I going to do? I started off on TikTok, and it was so embarrassing. But if you keep pushing and you want it bad enough, you can end up going to the hills with Josh Richards.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the other thing is that you realize a lot of those people that try to put you down to lift themselves up, all of those people do come knocking back as soon as you've made it, right? They're going to be the first people that are going to be like, oh, wait, bring me out to LA, or oh, wait, I want to do this now. Can you help me? So, it is something that will come around, and you will be the last one laughing. You talk about finding your voice and editing yourself. What was that process like? How did you come to find your voice? What was it that really made you feel like?
I think I just found my demographic, which was the college girls, and I was relatable to them. I was doing my hungover content, my blue raspberry content. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but that's when people really, if you find your niche and you get people to enjoy it and feel like they're there with you, then they're along for the ride, and it's not just hey, watch me do what I'm doing.
If you are somebody that, is wanting to get into the social space, and that is as a creator, as somebody in the back end with marketing, if that is bringing your company online, whatever it is, anytime you're using something with social media, finding your niche. Marie, when she was first starting, the college content, what she was going through on the day-to-day of partying and trying to juggle school, having that chaos be the content of juggling both lives was relatable to a lot of people. And then people were able to become a part of that community and feel like they were connected to you in one way. So you're able to kind of, give that message along a lot easier.
Yeah. How did BFFs even become a thing? Because that, I feel like, is what kind of catapulted us and Dave just like into a different universe of social media.
I made a diss track and it went online, went viral, and then Dave had tweeted out about it and being like, why are these wiggle dickers showing up on my feed? Those were his exact words. And so in that moment, you look at that and you go, okay, like how can we bring somebody that's so outside of this world into this world of drama, fill them in, and then now you have like a 1 + 1 = 3 situation where the two of us are bringing completely different audiences together to focus on one thing. So we went live on Instagram together, had good chemistry on there, and we're able to go back and forth. And from that, a brand actually came in and was like, hey, we would love for you guys to do a show on our platform.
What brand?
It was Snapchat. So then it's like me kind of improving and pivoting as we're on the call, being like, well, what if we took this series that I have called Tea Talk and we turn it into a podcast, and it's me and you, and I teach you all the drama that goes on in the world, like what we just did on that live stream. So then at this point, I'm just throwing out ideas, hoping something goes over well with Dave, and he liked it and was like, yes, I'm down to do that. Let's talk about it. So then we figured that out, did it together, didn't work perfectly with just us two, and then we brought in Brie, and then the show was made.
That's also something about social media is you kind of have to know when to keep doing something and when to leave it in the past and move on to the next thing, because there are so many things that people grasp onto and keep trying to make work.
It's not a bad thing to leave it. It's just the start of the next story, right? So talking about that though, Brie, after BFFs, what is the next moves? Obviously you've done reality TV now. What's the next big thing for Brie?
Yeah, well, that's the scary thing about ending something that was the biggest part of your career. You don't really know what you're going to do and how you're going to pivot. And especially with social media, it is one of those jobs where you don't really know what's next. And with BFFs, I think it gives you a perfect lane and a voice where you can shift into other things where you're not just one. Reality TV, perfect lane. Then you can get into other TV, and then you can just like kind of network with what you've already had and just move the spider web.
For sure.
Yeah.
What are some hard lessons you think you learned through social media? How have you balanced either a good personal and work-life balance? How have you balanced the mental health of it all? What's that like for you?
I mean, I think I've learned all the lessons, but there's so many people in this industry where they want to work with you, they want to collaborate with you. It's icky because it's kind of like a social ladder. It very much teaches you how to interact on this is work life and then separate it from friendships, which I think is a really good skill to have. And once you kind of are able to balance the two, then you see your business flourish, because if you mix the both, like I did a lot, you kind of saw it crumble. This business is scary and cutthroat, and you have to know who to trust and what questions to ask. Like with Alex Earl joining Alex Cooper's Unwell Network, she was so excited to join it, so she just signed whatever, and you kind of lock yourself into contracts. You don't know who to trust because everything looks shiny and new. That's a big lesson I've learned, just like ask questions and make sure you have the right people in your corner backing those up, and like read everything. But do you think there's anything that the audience that watches us online wouldn't know that you struggle with social media?
Maybe it's not the biggest struggle, but I think people's preconceived notions about you.
Yeah.
Like when people think that they know who you are before, and obviously we're the ones that are exposing ourselves to the social media, so we ask for it, right? Yeah. But I think like the weird thing is when you meet people and they tell you like, oh, I thought you were gonna be like this, or I thought, and it's like a negative thing, I think that's strange, but I feel like with all these things, when anything is mental health on the side of social media, it's going and talking to someone like Gabby for me. It's going and talking to my mom and my dad, or it's shout out Gabby, or it's talking to like a couple of my friends. Like I think there's like a few people that I'm able to go and talk to and feel like, okay, everything's good in the world. So if you have those people, you're gonna be just fine.
Are you guys ready for Q&A?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so raise your hand if you have a question. Think of those questions right now. Oh, okay, we have a question right here.
This question is for Josh. I was wondering, when you talked about pivoting areas and expanding out in your career, going from social media to different industries, and advice that you'd have to founders, whether they want to branch out from what they're currently doing, maybe an influencer who's going to create a company or something like that, or a VC fund?
Yeah, whenever you're pivoting out of one area to the other, I think what's super important is going and seeing who's done it before. For example, when I went to go start a fund, I got on a lot of calls with Ashton Kutcher. Ashton Kutcher is somebody that has been in the venture space as an angel investor and a venture capitalist, but also was in entertainment first. And he was able to make that pivot. So I got on a phone with him and was like, hey, how did you make people in this industry take you seriously when you're a comedy actor and you're going now and saying, hey guys, give me millions of dollars and I'm going to go invest this for you really well and make sure you get some money back. Like, what was the path you had to take to gain that trust? And then I think it's also just a little bit of putting yourself out there, which can be a little bit nerve-wracking and can be a little bit scary, but I always looked at it as like, what is the worst possible outcome I can get from sending a cold email to someone? They say no. Just making sure you put yourself out there and talking to the right people and learning from them is always the great first step.
Alrighty, my name's Sammy. I'm back here. Oh,
We see your hand. What's up, man?
I have a big question. So, what if you don't like your niche, and how do you out niche your niche, if that makes sense?
That's a really good question, and you see that happen to people all the time. I think it's really hard to transition out of it, especially if you build your fan base based off of that. But if you slowly increment other content in, but you don't rip your niche away immediately because your fans kind of feel betrayed, then you gain a new audience while you're doing it, and it's kind of like a slow burn into your new thing.
I would agree with Bree where like you don't want to just abolish this group of people that you've built from that niche because they are your audience. You were able to curate that. You obviously know how to speak to them. Every once in a while, sprinkling in a different post and see what works well and what doesn't with a new niche that you would like.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
No problem.
Good
Great
luck.
question.
Hi, my name is Layla, and my question was, do you guys have a huge international audience, or are you planning to expand into international audience? Because I know you're from Canada and you've lived in New York, and I'm international. That's why I was asking, are you looking to expand, or how has it helped you maybe? If you, for example, speak a different language, or if you can relate to other cultures, how has it helped you in your path?
And I think it's every creator's goal to be global and to expand, but it is really, I think it's one of the hardest things to do. I think with streaming and with gaming and that whole aspect of it, you see that kind of go global.
Speed.
Yeah. He's worldwide.
For sure. I think everyone, to an extent, wants to make sure that their audience can transcend just America. But it is a difficult crossover. I think going to those countries is honestly the best way to do it. Like, whenever you're able to tap into those countries and show them love and make some content for them, I think they actually appreciate it more than anyone here does.
Else, yeah.
And to the community talk, you build a great community out of it. So, yeah.
Bree, you were talking about contracts earlier. I was just wondering what's something you would want just advise us to like look out for when we're like reading contracts, signing contracts.
Ask everyone that you know, ask your mom, ask your dad, ask your teacher, ask a friend. Don't be the only person to have eyes on a contract because you're bound to miss something. Also, you're young, you're impressionable, and no one knows what the hell the thing says. So make sure to get as many eyes on it as you can, especially, I know when I first started, I didn't have a lawyer that I knew directly, so I just asked everyone that I knew to get it in the hands of someone that could tell me what I'm reading. And YouTube, dude. Seriously, YouTube everything.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for being here tonight as Microsoft kicks off the campus tour. They wanted to make sure the first stop was Arizona State University. Thank you so much, Microsoft, for the great company, the great conversation.
Student deals right now are amazing with Microsoft right now. So you get a lot of things for a very good price. So make sure to check it out.
Want to balance school and social?
Yeah,
Nothing better.
nothing better. And you guys are the best. Thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with us.
Thank you guys.
Josh and Bree, thank you.